Hello guys, welcome to NS Academy. So today's video would be about integration theory. So we'll specifically talk about कैसे क्वेश्चंस को अप्रोच किया जाए एंड क्वेश्चंस किस तरीके के आएंगे ताकि आप डायरेक्टली उसके आंसर्स को कर सको. तो दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ वेरी a session where you are going to learn things a lot. थ्योरी डेप्थ में जाएंगे वैसी बात नहीं है यहाँ पे. वी आर सिंपली गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड कैसे क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, उनको कैसे सॉल्व किया जाए और मार्क्स कैसे लिया जाए, राइट. तो पहले आता है क्या, मेथड ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूशन. सो बिफोर वाचिंग दिस वीडियो आई वुड होप दैट यू आर फेमिलियर विद द बेसिक्स ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन. इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ एक्स डी एक्स क्या होता है, पावर रूल क्या होता है, इस तरीके की चीजें. मेथड ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूशन में क्या होगा, सो एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. साइन ऑफ लॉग एक्स बेस ई ऑफ कोर्स डिवाइडेड बाय एक्स डी एक्स. लेट्स से ये एग्जांपल है. सब्स्टिट्यूशन वाले क्वेश्चंस वो होते हैं जहां पे यू हैव टू सब्स्टिट्यूट आउट समथिंग एंड यू नोटिस कि the derivative of that substitution is already present inside the integrand. For example, log x का derivative क्या होता है, 1 by x, and you see कि dx by x is already present, so there is a 1 by x. So this tells you t is equals to ln of x ले लो आप, तो dt क्या बनेगा, dx by x. ये इंटीग्रल क्या बन जाएगा फिर, इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ साइन ऑफ t dt, राइट. dx by x बन गया dt, साइन ऑफ ln x को मैंने बना दिया t. तो ये सिंपली एक dt का साइन टी इंटीग्रल है जिसका आंसर है माइनस कॉस ऑफ t प्लस सी. तो ये क्या बन जाएगा, कॉस माइनस कॉस ऑफ ln x प्लस सी, राइट. एक और एग्जांपल देखते हैं. इसमें हम क्या करेंगे, हमारे पास है e टू द पावर m tan इनवर्स x बाई 1 प्लस एक्स स्क्वायर dx. सिंपल एग्जांपल है. अगेन यू हैव टू सब्स्टिट्यूट tan इनवर्स x. क्यों, क्योंकि उसका डेरिवेटिव क्या होता है, 1 बाई 1 प्लस एक्स स्क्वायर. क्या आपको दिख रहा है वो इंटीग्रेशन के अंदर, यस, dx by 1 plus x square. You can see the 1 upon 1 plus x square. मतलब you will simply do t is equals to tan inverse x. तो dt क्या बन जाएगा, dt बन जाएगा dx by 1 plus x square, करेक्ट. ये इंटीग्रल क्या बन जाएगा, इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ e टू द पावर m t बन गया ये, राइट, e टू द पावर m t. और ये जो dx by 1 plus x square था ये सिंपली बन गया dt. अब e टू द पावर m t जहां पे m कांस्टेंट है, आंसर क्या होगा, e टू द पावर m t by m प्लस सी. t का वैल्यू पुट कर दो, e टू द पावर m tan इनवर्स x बाई m प्लस सी, करेक्ट. ये होते हैं सब्स्टिट्यूशन के मेथड्स. हम बहुत सारे ऐसे फॉर्म्स को भी देखने वाले हैं जहां पे यू विल फील लाइक कि इन इतने सारे फॉर्म्स आपको दिखने वाले हैं अभी कि इसमें से तो कुछ ना कुछ आपको आ ही जाएगा और उससे आपकी इंट्यूशन भी बढ़ेगी. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट प्रोडक्ट टू सम. ये क्या टेक्निक होता है, सो ट्रिगोनोमेट्रिक क्वेश्चंस में यू विल ऑलवेज फाइंड क्वेश्चंस लाइक दिस जहां पे आपके पास लेट्स से दिया गया है cos x, cos 2x, cos 5x dx. तो इस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस को आप कैसे सॉल्व करो, यू कैन इंडिविजुअली सॉल्व ईच ऑफ दिस. सो इफ इट वाज रादर इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ cos x और इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ cos 2x और इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ cos 5x, यू कुड हैव डन इट. सो यहाँ पे वी यूज प्रोडक्ट टू सम formulas. व्हाट आर द formulas? नंबर 1, if you have sin of mx cos of nx, this can be simply written as half of sin of m plus nx minus sin of m minus nx. Okay. नंबर 2, यू हैव, अगर आपके पास है साइन ऑफ nx एंड कॉस ऑफ mx, यू कैन सिंपली राइट हाफ साइन ऑफ m प्लस n x minus sin of m minus n x. Number 3, if you have cos of mx, so basically the one we need here, cos of nx, something like this can be simply transformed like कैसे, cos nx should be cos of m plus nx plus cos of m minus nx. Okay. And number 4, finally, sine of mx and sine of nx. This can be written as half cos of m minus nx. So remember that m minus n comes first when you are doing the product to sum formula for sine A, sine B. So this minus cos of m plus nx. Okay. Applying this rule here gives us, so make an arrow here. So this would give us, so let us apply to the first two, cos x and cos 2x. It's simply going to be this, right? Half cos that. So basically you can write this as half. So m plus n is 3x and m minus nx cos of x into cos 5x dx, which can be now written as half integration of, so let me give a bracket here, integration of cos 3x cos 5x dx plus integration of cos x cos 5x dx. Apply the same formula again. You have 1 by 4, and now you have integration of cos of 8x dx plus cos of 2x dx plus x and 5x is cos of 6x dx, and finally 5 minus 1 is cos of 4x dx. Integrate each of them. You will simplify. The answer is 1 by 4 sine 8x by 8 plus sine 2x by 2 plus sine 4x by 4 plus sine 6x by 6 plus c. You see how easy this becomes once we apply the product to sum formulas. This is very useful and this technique is often used. So याद रखिएगा इसको to apply in any of the trigonometric formulas. Let's see the next. Next we look at this kind of functions. So if you have some functions like this, that function of x plus 1 by x, and you have a 1 minus 1 by x squared dx, you simply substitute t is equals to x plus 1 by x. Remember this. Similarly, if you have a function of x minus 1 by x, you have to substitute t equals to x minus 1 by x, because 1 plus 1 by x squared dx is its derivative. We can look at one example here. Suppose you have t square plus 1 by t square plus 4 dt. Now, this is a very common example. Now, how do you do this? So, obviously, this is going to be 2 to the power 4 plus 1. Yeah. Now, you have a quadratic equation, you have a quadratic equation in the denominator. This cannot be done simply. So, the technique here is divide by. So, whenever you have this kind of things where 2 and power 4 are involved, you divide by t square. The numerator becomes 1 by 1 plus t square, and this becomes t square plus 1 by t square dt. Correct? Now, therefore, 1 plus 1 by t square is in the numerator. This one we can use the a minus b whole square plus 2ab formula to write it as t minus 1 by t whole square plus 2. Notice that 2ab, which is 2 into 2 t into 1 by t, is basically 2 dt. Use the substitution as said, because you see it's basically 1 plus 1 by t square dt is here, which is this, and it's a function of t minus 1 by t, which is x minus 1 by x. So use the substitution u equals to t minus 1 by t. Therefore, du should be equals to 1 plus 1 by t square dt. And this should simply become integration of du by u square plus 2. Correct? And therefore, this is nothing but 1 by root 2 tan inverse of u by root 2, where u is t minus 1 by t. Simply put in the value, and your question is done. So again, a very useful form. Remember this. So let's look at this example. This is again a very important formula. So e to the power x whole into f of x plus f dash x dx is equals to e to the power x into f of x plus c. So if you have an integration which is in this form, you have an e to the power x, and if you can represent whatever's outside of e to the power x as a function and the sum of its derivative. So basically, if you can represent it in this form, the answer should simply be e to the power x into fx plus c. I'll show you a related example and how to do this. So at first glance, this might seem a little bit complicated, but once we try and do this, it becomes, so I can simply write 1 minus x whole square in the numerator, which is 1 minus 2x plus x square, and I will keep the denominator as it is. Okay. Now I will simply, so I will take e to the power x here, I will give a bracket. I will simply take 1 plus x square by 1 plus x square whole square, which is 1 by 1 plus x square after cancelling off one of the entries. And I will simply take minus 2x by 1 plus x square whole square separately as well, dx. If you notice, the derivative of 1 by 1 plus x square is simply this. You can verify it using chain rule. Therefore, according to my formula, this is my f of x, this is my f dash of x. So the answer is simply e to the power x into f of x, which is this. So again, a very useful formula. Remember this. This is one of the applications. The applications are very straightforward. Try to represent the inner function as a sum of a function and its derivative. Whichever function that is going to be your answer directly multiplied by e to the power x. Let's look at one more. So let's look at one more form. There are other forms left, obviously, but we cannot fit everything in a single video. So if you have this kind of a function where p, q, a, b are rational numbers, and you have p sin x plus q cos x by a sin x plus b cos x, something like this. The way to do this is this. You simply represent the numerator, which is p sin x plus q cos x, as some constant c1 multiplied by the denominator, which is a sin x plus b cos x, plus some constant c2 multiplied by the derivative of the denominator, which is a cos x minus b sin x. Next, you simply write down the right hand side as sin x into something plus cos x into something, which in this case should be simply sin x into AC1 minus BC2, right? AC1 minus BC2 plus cos x multiplied by BC1 plus AC2. And now you compare the coefficients. So basically you should have P is equals to AC1 minus BC2 and Q is equals to BC1 plus AC2. Your task is to solve C1 and C2 in terms of A, B, P and Q, because A, B, P, Q are given numbers. And once you get C1 and C2, you can put this value here, and this integral will simply become integration of, if you notice, this can be written as C1 whole into this, right? So if I do distributive law over here, C1 of this by this will cancel to be C1 dx. And the next term would be C2 times A cos x minus B sin x by whole by A sin x plus B cos x dx. Notice that the numerator is just simply the derivative of this. So this one should be C1x and this should be C2 ln of this. So ln of this has derivative this because it's dt by dt form, right? So if you simply substitute this, this whole thing will become dt, which is ln of t ultimately. So ln of A sin x plus B cos x plus C. So this is the algorithm. This is the algorithm of solving questions of this kind. So there are other forms as well, and there are many more tricks in definite integration as well. If you'd like to check out more of this and learn more of this in your upcoming exams, you can join the ICICMI course as well. And we will try to cover the rest of this as well in some other YouTube video. So thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe.